Welcome back to the Anarchist Writing Vlogs. It is week 4 and this week I don't really have a plan. It's the first week where I really don't have a long goal or anything that I'm actively working towards except for finishing chapters 13 and 14 of Anarchist. If you guys are new here, I am a science fiction fantasy writer who is working on the second book in my space opera sci-fi trilogy that I call Elysium Rising. The book is called Anarchist. If you want to learn a little bit more about it, you can check out the playlist up here or the first video in this vlog series, which will be somewhere on the screen. But yes, we don't really have a plan this week. I do want to live stream on Friday. So I guess that's going to be my goal, work towards a live stream and try to write as many words as I can with all of you guys who join me down in the comments over there. Other than that, I don't really have a goal for this week. I've kind of set lofty goals for myself the first 3 weeks and I didn't achieve the 10K goal last week. So I'm going to take it a little easy on myself, try to learn a bit more about my story and characters and just have more of a chill week. But I do want to know what your goals for your project are, what project you're working on, and how you plan on reaching those goals this week. Let me know down in the comments and be sure to respond to other people's goals and give them some encouragement as well. Now, with all that said and done, let's get into the first day of the week. I don't know why, but I really like this angle. Today is Monday, July 14th, and I am officially entering Act 2 of Anarchist. I am currently on the second scene of chapter 13 and I've already written 667 words today. I've done one writing sprint in my server. I've done one writing sprint today and I wrote 667 words, and I took a small break just to turn on the camera and tell you guys where exactly I'm headed with the story at this specific point in the plot. I've mentioned a few times that I'm now entering Act 2, and the reason why I'm specifically excited for this part of the book is because this is where the fun and games start. Now, I have 3 books planned in this trilogy because, you know, it's a trilogy, and each one has kind of focused on a different aspect of the promise, I guess, that this series sells or potentially hopes to sell readers. The first book only took place on about 3 settings. Most of it was on Elysium Prime. So a lot of the premise of the first book, while it is science fiction, it leans more into the political messages that I guess I was trying to make with some of the things that happen in that book. And this book definitely is doing the same thing, but I think I promise a little bit more adventure and exploration of the world that I've created throughout this second book. And we've already been to about 5 different locations in this story, and we're only in the 13th chapter. And I have many more places I want my characters to travel before this book is over. And that's already a lot more than book 1. And I've actually made a lot of planet sheets and location sheets just to have for my Obsidian world document thing. We started this book on Okaro, a war-torn planet, and then we ended up on Zonaru. And then I think, where'd we go from there? We went to a moon, and then we went to Junzar. And now my characters are about to land on Bazaar, an asteroid that used to be an android factory in the middle of the far reaches. That's currently what I'm writing right now with chapter 13. And from there on, I'm pretty sure we have a couple more plans to visit. I'm not going to say them by name, not because I'm being secretive, but I haven't fully settled on a name for them yet, but I know what they're going to be. So I know there's at least 2 other planets that I want my characters to visit before this book is over. So that's about 7 different settings right there. And I'm really excited to build and visit all of these new worlds and new places and try and, make this world feel as real as possible despite it being, science fiction and taking place in another galaxy. And while this is the fun and games section where I'm delivering on the promise that I'm hopefully making at the beginning of this book, when people pick up the book and they read the blurb and stuff, you're supposed to deliver a promise, and the middle of the book is supposed to, deliver on that promise. And that's what I'm hoping this section of the book is doing. But along with that, I'm also hoping to continue building my characters and slowly and gradually, get them on their arcs, because all 3 of my main characters are supposed to be going on an arc, and not even just them, other characters minor characters go on arcs as well, even if they're happening in the background, because Iggy is the only character with a point of view in this book. These next couple of chapters are really going to be focusing on Jackson. We're still on the Jackson character arc, and and my characters are arriving on Bazaar. They were not able to get into contact with Shiv before arriving. There's a little bit of tension and anxiety throughout the group because they're landing on this place where it's full of criminals and pirates and, you know, people who might want to capture them and give them back to the Empire for the bounty that's on their heads. And they don't even have a guarantee that the person that they came here to meet is willing to meet with them, or if they even have the information that they're looking to have. So that's kind of the conflict of this chapter. And soon my characters are going to be meeting Shiv, because, I mean, spoiler, they're going to meet Shiv. It's not really a spoiler. I wouldn't introduce this character if they weren't going to meet them, but things are not going to go as planned. And then I'm going to be getting into another action set piece. Like I mentioned before, we are in Act 2. This book is not called Anarchist for no reason. Things are not going to be slowing down much from here on out. And I cannot wait until I get to the latter stages of this book, because I have some pretty big things planned and I'm really excited to get to execute those things. That's enough yapping. Let's get into another writing session. Today is Wednesday, July 16th, I believe. I never really know what day it is because, yeah, I just kind of never know the exact number of the day it is, but I'm pretty sure today is the 16th. There's a cat in my backyard. That's not my cat, by the way. I don't know if you guys can see him, but yeah, we got a lot of stray cats in my neighborhood and they love our backyard for some reason. And you guys are probably wondering, why am I outside? And that's a great question. And I don't really have an answer to that question. Pretty much all of the vlogs have been recorded in my room. And I'm like, that's probably a little boring for you guys watching. Like every clip is me in my room or, you know, me writing at my desk. So I figured why not switch things up this week and, you know, film a little talking section outside of my backyard because, you know, half of my house is literally this yard. I'm pretty sure we have more yard space than actual house and we don't use it for anything. Got some tree branches because we trimmed a tree recently, but yeah, we don't use this backyard and like it's so huge. I figured I'd come outside, you know, get some fresh air and talk to you guys about Tuesday and why I didn't write. Now, there's no like big reason why I didn't write. I pretty much spent the entire day hanging out with a friend, you know, watching TV, eating food, watching anime and stuff like that. And I also did not finish the entire chapter outline for chapter 13, which is the chapter that I am working on at the moment. And that's also part of the reason why I didn't do any writing yesterday, because I could have, you know, finished the scene that I was writing, but I didn't exactly know where I wanted to go specifically with that scene because I hadn't finished the chapter outline. So yeah, that's part of the reason why I wrote 0 words on Tuesday, but today is Wednesday. It's a brand new day, and actually I want to take the time to say taking breaks from writing is actually a good thing. I don't think you necessarily need to write every day unless you're a professional writer and like you need to hit deadlines and stuff. I'm not currently under any like hard deadlines to finish this project, so I can take breaks, you know, whenever I want. And I think they're good for you to help reset your mind and also to help keep you hyped for your story. Hopefully you guys aren't picking up that wind too much. That's one of the consequences of recording outside without one of those little handheld mics. But yeah, what was I saying? Breaks are good because I feel like it helps build up the anticipation to work on your story, because while I didn't write a single word yesterday, when I was going to bed last night, I was just thinking about the scene that I was writing and I was thinking about the setting and like what it looked like in my head, because I'm a very visual person. That's why I use Pinterest a lot when I'm writing, especially new settings. And yesterday I was actually looking at some pins that I saved for Bazaar, because that's one of the settings that is a little hard for me to visualize, because it's, you know, there's nothing on earth that really looks like it. So I'm really having to build this from scratch in my brain. And I was thinking about that last night, and I was like, I can't wait to write this scene, and I can't wait to introduce Shiv as a character, because I just really, you know, I'm looking forward to how these scenes are going to end up. And that's all because I took a break. Like, if I didn't take a break yesterday, who knows how that scene would have turned out. And I also feel like taking breaks can, you know, ward off that burnout, because it's coming. The burnout is coming. I already know it's coming. I've been writing this for this is week 4, so almost a month straight now. The burnout is coming, and I do think taking breaks can help keep you fresh and ready for when it is time for you to write. So yeah, that's all I want to say. I'm gonna get into my writing session for the day, and then maybe hop into some other things after I'm done with that. See you guys in a bit. I have a live stream planned for tomorrow, so I decided to hop into Canva to design a new thumbnail, and I think it came out pretty decent. I finished that, and then I began doing some planning for chapter 14 of Anarchist. I needed to plan out the last scene, which I will be working on in my writing sprint, which is what I made the thumbnail for. I just finished my first ever solo stream on YouTube, and it went surprisingly great. There was a decent amount of people in there. It was a lot of fun, and I'm definitely going to try and do this every Friday if I can help it. It was great to, you know, write with you guys, read some of your writing, talk to you guys about my writing and all that fun stuff. And it's nice seeing the little bit of community that I am building on YouTube. I also hit 2,000 subscribers while on stream, so that was also amazing. And yeah, I can't wait to do it again. I finished the second scene of chapter 14, and I actually might have finished the entire chapter as well. I got to go back and read it and see how many words it is to see if I should start a new chapter or continue on from this one. But really enjoying how the story is going so far, and I can't wait to share another update with you guys. It's Friday, July 18th, and I haven't logged in my words for the day. I may do some more writing after I'm done recording this clip, but I think I got about 1,000 and something. I got over 1,000 done during this. I got over 1,000 words written during the sprint, because I think I wrote like 600 in the first sprint, and then I wrote like 700 in the second sprint. So, you know, just do the math. So yeah, pretty productive. Really enjoyed how that went. I was kind of nervous at the beginning, but I got over that kind of quickly. And yeah, I can't wait to stream again. I'll see you guys on Saturday when I do my wrap up for the week.
Okay, so today is Sunday, July 20th. Sorry if my voice sounds a little bit weird. My friend took me to a soccer game yesterday, and I absolutely lost my voice. I absolutely lost my voice. It was LA Galaxy versus LAFC at LAFC Stadium. I'm an LA Galaxy fan because I used to play for their club team / academy, so I gotta represent my team. And it was a crazy game. It ended 3-3 at the last second. All the LAFC fans were like mad at me and my friend because we were wearing Galaxy jerseys, so I lost my voice, but just a great time. Shout out to my friend Eric for getting me those free tickets. The seats were amazing. But yeah, that's why my voice sounds a little bit weird. But today is Sunday. I didn't do any writing yesterday, so the last time I wrote was on Friday during my live stream. Still haven't exactly counted up how many words I wrote that day. You'll see how many I did for the entire week in the outro to this video. But today I wanted to just go over my whiteboard with my sticky notes and show you guys, you know, my progress so far with the story. Don't know if you guys can see, I'm missing chapter 4. It fell off. It wasn't sticky anymore. But I noticed someone else who does something like this. Every time they finish a chapter, they pull off the sticky note. And I don't know why I didn't start doing that, because I don't need the other ones anymore. And if I need to go touch up another chapter, I can just look at it on my computer. So I think what I'm gonna do right now is go ahead and remove all of these chapters and see my progress. But before I do that, I kind of want to talk about where I am in the story. So let's see if I can show you. Chapter 13 says broker reveal plus broker betrayal / secret police attack number 3. So we're actually not at secret police attack number 3, even though I'm at the end of chapter 14. Like I mentioned before, I am a couple chapters pushed back, which was always going to happen. This is a 27 chapter outline. My book was not going to be 27 chapters, so certain plot points and scenes were going to take place over multiple chapters and what's actually written here. But I just had it this way for the, you know, structural purposes and just to have it down. So I'm about 2 chapters behind now. I think I'm in chapter 15 now, and the secret police attack number 3 has not happened yet. So we really should be like somewhere in the middle. And after that scene, after the secret police attack, there's supposed to be a chase through Bazaar. That's like where I'm at. That's chapter 14. I'm on chapter 14, and that's not chapter 14. So gonna have to try and speed up the pace, maybe, or maybe I'm good where I'm at. You know, I think I'm on pace to about 30 something chapters, which is where I wanted to be in the first place, which is pretty good. And I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying the scene that I'm writing. During the sprint, I was worried I wasn't going to write as much because I was streaming and, you know, I had my camera on while I was writing and people were looking at me, but I was able to really get into the scene. And I think it's because I really like Shiv as a character. They're only going to be in the book for about 3 chapters now. Originally, what was planned was 2 chapters, but who knows, maybe they'll show up in book 3 or something, or maybe even later on in this book, I might have more plans for them because I really like this character and I kind of think it would be a waste for them to disappear after just 2 chapters. So yeah, those are my thoughts right now about the story. Really enjoying things, how they're going right now, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys a time lapse of me removing all of these chapters that I have finished thus far. So it's officially the end of the week, and after checking my Trackbead progress, I have written 5,992 words this week. I did not write on Sunday, and I did not write on Thursday, I think. So I missed 2 days, and it looks like my average word count was about 1,500 words. I don't know if you guys can see the numbers on the calculator. I wrote 8,000 words last week, 6,000 words this week. We're getting somewhere. And after pulling off all the chapters on my whiteboard, I'm gonna just count how many I pulled out. I didn't count while I was actually doing it for some reason. So starting with Act 1, we completed the entirety of Act 1. So that's 9 chapters, 9 sticky notes right here. And then we have completed 1/3 of Act 2. That's 3 chapters. So good progress. Liking how the story's going. I'm having fun still, having fun exploring these characters, the world, building up the plot. I feel there's one thing I am a little bit worried about though. In book 1, I established Emperor Voltai Alcastis as the main antagonist, but he hasn't shown up a single time in this book. He
He hasn't shown up once. He is going to show up towards the end, and he's mentioned multiple times throughout the book. But as I'm writing this book, I'm realizing that the Emperor himself is not the main villain. The main villain or antagonist is actually the Empire, the Elysian Empire as a whole. And I'm not sure if that's allowed. I'm pretty sure that's allowed, but like I'm thinking back to Star Wars. Like, of course the Empire was the villain, but you know, it was Darth Vader and, you know, it was the Emperor in that series, Darth Sidious. Those were the, you know, the villains, the main villains. And my book at the moment doesn't really have those two central characters. I mean, Darth Vader showed up a decent amount of times throughout Star Wars, but Voltaire has not shown up a single time in book 2, and it's going to be until Act 3 until we see him. I'm trying to think if there's any ways for me to show him through Iggy's point of view, or if I should introduce a second point of view to the book. Also not sure if I should do that because book 1 only was one point of view, and I don't know how readers feel about getting to another book in a series and another point of view is established, and if it's only for like one chapter, I'm like, would that be jarring? So I don't know, that's something I got to think about. Or maybe I'm fine with just having him show up towards the end of the book because he's gonna show up in book 3 a decent amount as well. So I don't know, we'll see when I get there. Other than that though, I'm pretty happy about where I'm at with the story. I didn't really have any goals for this week. I guess my goal was to live stream, do my first solo live stream, and I accomplished that. So yeah, let me know what your goals for the week were down in the comments below, and if you were able to achieve them. And you guys know I gotta leave you with a question before I get out of here. Someone actually asked me a really cool question in the live stream, and that was, how do you get over the cringe of reading your own work? And for me personally, I don't really cringe that much when I read my own writing because I think I'm at a place in my own skill level and style where I actually enjoy what I write. But like when I was first starting, I used to cringe a lot at my writing, and even when I would look at even when I would go back and look at my old writing, I would cringe heavily. So I think the only way is to just keep writing, keep tweaking things, keep trying to find your own style, and eventually the cringe won't be as much. That's pretty much the only way I can answer that question. Hopefully some of you guys have a better answer down in the comments for people who may be struggling with reading their own work and, you know, jumping over the cringe hurdle, as you will. Also, let me know how many words you guys wrote this week down in the comments below. I love hearing about all of the progress you guys are making alongside me, as these videos are about my project, but my channel is for the community of writers that I'm building as a whole. And I love hearing about what you guys are working on, what your stories are about, what struggles and challenges you guys are facing, and how many words you guys are writing per week. I love hearing about all of that. So yes, leave all of that progress down in the comments and help build each other up, respond to other people's comments and progress and all that good stuff. If you guys have enjoyed this vlog, don't forget to drop a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to stay up to date with all of the future videos. I've been LDJ, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.